Okay, I believe I am live. Welcome. I'm just going to make sure I am live. I know this is completely unprofessional, but I just need to make sure. I'm live. Yes, I am. I'm just checking on my phone. My lighting looks a little bit weird, but hey, I'm just going to have to deal with it. Welcome. Welcome. Happy Boxing Day. It is December 26th, and I decided to go live every Friday, even as a holiday, so I thought, why not? I didn't make a video yesterday, but what I said the other day has kind of transpired. We had a bit of a pump, and now the price is falling again in real time as I'm looking at the charts now. And so yeah, let's get into it. Before I do, I'm Harvinder, been in Bitcoin since 2015, been making these videos since 2022, and I like to keep things simple, no fluff. I ignore the noise. I don't go on Twitter. I don't watch the news at all, actually. I just look at the charts and go by that, and it's worked out pretty well. So that's what I talk about. Are we in an uptrend or are we in a downtrend? Right now, undeniably, we're in a downtrend, and yeah, we need to break out of it, and then we can start making money again on crypto. So let me share my screen and let's get into it. Okay, so I was looking at this a few hours ago, and this is nice and green, this daily candle, but it's just slammed back down. So let's get a closer look and see what's happened. So yeah, the price was around about 88, and we were touching 90k, and I was like, oh, this is good. But yeah, it's just slammed back down again, and that's not a nice candle, especially on the 4-hour chart. If we go into the daily chart, this is turning into what I call a high test, where the price went up and then it came back down again. And when you have a high test in a falling market, it usually does mean further falling. And so yeah, the structure's not good. We've done pretty much exactly what I said would happen over the last few weeks. And so we can't really complain, because this is what was expected. What happened, we had the price break this trend line, and then we had a retest a few times, and now it's coming back down again, and it should hit this area here. It should. This trading analysis stuff it's just calculated guessing. That's what it really is. No one knows for sure what's going to happen. Even me, even I'll get it right. From a long-term perspective, I don't know either. The only thing I can guarantee is that Bitcoin will continue to go up. It will go down in the meantime, but generally the trend is up. And so that's what you need to sometimes zoom out and just think about. Okay, is this chart going up or down? And it's going up. And so that is a good thing. Yeah, it does have its drawdowns, but then it continues to go up, and it comes down again, and it continues to go up. But the main thing is you want it to be upwards like this, and it's always climbing higher and higher. And yeah, this is where people struggle with. And what's really frustrating is everything else is doing really well except for Bitcoin. And normally people say, well, isn't Bitcoin the one that's meant to do really well? Yeah, but we just don't have the liquidity. And so if you don't want to stay and watch the whole video, I still think this is going to play out. And I think we might come back to this trend line, but it's probably going to keep on continuing to fall. And so let's bring this up on a clean chart. Actually, not before I do, I want to quickly talk about this. This is the uptrend, downtrend chart that I've had for a while. And we keep threatening to break out of here, but then it just keeps coming back down into this channel. And this isn't the best channel in the world. I could probably draw this a bit better, and let's quickly do that actually. Let's just draw some more lines, and let's draw this more accurately. Yeah, you could say it's like that, or even like that. I'm going to keep the old one there, but I'm probably just going to change the color. Yeah, I'll change the color. So let me make this one a yellow one. I know it's harder to see, but just to see the difference. And when you draw these trend lines, you've got to remember that it's not just one line, it's a range. So when I'm drawing these, I'm looking at this whole range here. So it could go anywhere between here, even a little bit out. It's not like, oh, it's broken that trend line and that's it. So yeah, just bear that in mind. It's a range. And so yeah, coming back to this, I like to look at fresh charts, because when you look at a fresh chart, it helps you put things back into perspective. And for me, ultimately, this is the downtrend that I'm tracking. Right, I just had a comment from Marcus Bot 4402. You have been, what's he saying? You've been spot on, bro. Thanks for the updates. Listening in now. Appreciate the comment, buddy. If there's any charts you want me to look at when I'm live, just drop it in the comment. And so yeah, until this is broken, there's no point in getting excited. There really is no point, because these resistance trend lines just work so well. If you just look at previous times when over here, we had this kind of resistance line here. Let's make it red again. I prefer that. Even over here, and I keep on talking about these because it's important. Like when you have a wall of resistance, a line of resistance, you need it to break. And until it breaks, there's no point in getting excited. And it could take months, or it could just take weeks. And you can keep on going through the charts, and you can find so many different occasions where this has worked. Like there's just loads. And so it's the other way around as well. It's you're tracking the downtrends, but then you're also tracking the uptrends. And that's been the most worrying one for me. When this trend line broke, I was like, okay, that's really bad. Because it's like we've enjoyed this 2-3 uptrend. It's not going to be a 2-3 year downtrend, but definitely for a few months. We've been in this downtrend since November time. Well, arguably since October time, but officially since November time, because that's when we actually broke this channel. So yeah, Bitcoin will recover, but yeah, we're just waiting for this. And let me delete these, because what I wanted to look at was something a little bit different. I wanted to look at, see, a few weeks ago I called this pattern, this is a rising compression, and I said, look, these normally break down to the downside, normally, and it did. And so are we seeing a similar pattern play out? So on the 4 hour, I didn't make a video yesterday, but I was thinking about this. I was like, look, we've got some kind of compression here. This is probably going to break to the downside. And it was Christmas Day, and I thought, yeah, I don't really want to make a video. So we had that one there, but then I was also looking at, let's put the replay function in. See, there's compression, there's patterns within patterns. So I was looking at this, I was like, this isn't the best compression, but it's some kind of compression. And I was looking at it yesterday on my mobile, and I was like, yeah, it probably will break out to the downside. So these patterns do play out time and time again. And we had a bit of a fake out to the bottom and to the top there. But they're all patterns within larger patterns. So the biggest pattern I'm seeing here is something like this. So this is a bigger compression. And again, we need to take it level by level. So what I'd be looking at is, will it break out of here? And if it does, then yeah, there's a good chance it could come back up to this level and then range around here. Now this is a symmetrical compression, so it's not rising. When I say rising, it's not a rising compression angled upwards, and it's not a falling compression pointing downwards. So when it's symmetrical, who knows which way it's going to go. My guess is to the downside. But yeah, it's not looking good on many different levels. But what's really frustrating for a lot of people in crypto is everything else is doing really well. So if you look at the US dollar's falling, that's good. So when the US dollar falls, generally assets priced against the US dollar, they go up in value. Look at the S&P 500. I talked in one of my videos a few days ago that this is a key trend line, and it would be great if it breaks through and it does something like that. And that could be happening. And so if you look, it has punched through this trend line, which was a resistance line. The Dow Jones, this is coming up to all-time highs again. The Nasdaq, this is doing a very similar thing to what the S&P 500 is doing. So we've got some kind of resistance line here that's threatening to break through. And from a support level, you can even bring that back a bit as well. So yeah, everything's doing really well. The Russell, not so much. I mean, it's still pretty much at all-time highs, but it hasn't pumped like everything else. The UK 100. And look at this, look at gold. That's just pretty insane. It's breaking all levels. Silver, that has just been insane. Now, I've been talking about gold and silver for years, and it was just suppressed for so long, even as recently as the beginning of the year. And it's just exploded. I've added platinum to my list as well, because this has gone, just like all the other precious metals, it's gone crazy. Crazy. So what I want to do is I actually want to do some analysis on these precious metals. And because there's so much data, you can go into like weekly charts, and you can really, even monthly charts, and you can really draw some meaningful trend lines. And so, yeah, this goes back to what, 1833. So yeah, we don't want to go that far back. But I'm going to do what I normally do when I look at these charts. Yeah, Marcus wants a lower entry on Bitcoin. Yeah, of course, but the danger is it going to go lower? I mean, the trading analysis is saying yes, but they might start printing money very quickly, and if they do, then that money could very quickly filter into the markets, and then yeah, hope for a lower entry is gone. So these are some of the lines that I was tracking on gold a little while ago before we broke all these recent levels. You know, we're definitely in this squeeze, and I was expecting a bit of a pullback from here, but it just punched through. So when this happens, you just need to reassess. It's like, okay, that trend line's no longer valid anymore because it's broken through. And then you can look at connecting some other points. So I mean, I've just anchored that over there, and you know, we still punch through here unless we have a retrace, which is kind of unlikely at the moment. You know, we're just going to have to, when you have a parabolic move like this, there's always some kind of retrace. Like even from here, from 2001 to that 10-year, it went on a 10-year run, pretty much. So there's a 10-year run here, and then it started to retrace. So there's a 10-year run, and then almost like an 8-year retrace. And now it went on a run for a good couple of years, took a couple of years for it as a breather, and now the last year has been crazy. So it could be having that kind of pattern, but it's difficult to do any more meaningful TA on this. I mean, all we can do is zoom in a little bit more, go into the daily. Yeah, Marcus, it's money printing. That's the main thing. When the money printing comes on, that money's going to get into the markets, and definitely Bitcoin, crypto, everything's going to pump. This is something that Ray Dalio warned about. He said the Fed is easing into a bubble, and that's scary because they've never done that before. So everything's already pumping, and they're gonna print into this, creating even more demand, because that money's going to go somewhere. All right, so I've just drawn a bunch of different support trend lines on gold. And so I did this with Ethereum a little while ago. And yeah, you really want to just see where it goes. Just take it level by level. It could continue to go up here. And over time, it will. Gold will definitely continue to go up in value. It's just in a solid uptrend like Bitcoin. And its use case is unparalleled. All right, so that's gold. Let's look at silver because that's gone crazy too. Because when you have these kind of assets, waiting for a pullback, it might not happen. It might not. It's too dangerous sometimes. And again, you buy these metals as insurance. You don't really buy these metals to trade. You do it as insurance if the world goes to poo, like completely, like Mad Max kind of level. So I'm going to ignore that COVID low. This is silver. So I'm just rambling while I'm drawing these lines. I hope they're making sense. So with silver, we punched through that level of resistance, which surprised many people. And we've almost doubled the price since pushing through there. And so we do the same thing. We look at different peaks and be like, okay, what's the next level that's been broken? We could, connect that peak there. And be like, that will be the next realistic level for silver, which is what, $94. And then if it does start to retrace, we can start to draw some resistance levels here. If it does start to retrace. Because this money that's going to come in, it will filter back into gold and silver eventually, but really it will probably go into more risk-on assets like like stocks and Bitcoin. So yeah, I would say my target level for silver would definitely be this trend line here before having a bit of a retrace. But who knows? Again, when it comes to trading analysis, no one knows. And that's a pretty steep incline. This is almost Bitcoin level charting. Let's have a look at platinum. Hey guys, if anyone's live, if you want me to chart anything, feel free to drop a chart and let me know the name of the chart in the comments. Look at this on platinum. This is insane. Like literally within a few months, 150% increase. This is crypto level pumps. And you got to remember, these are huge markets. I'm talking like millions and trillions. So, for it to move, a lot of money has come into here. So with platinum, there's definitely a really good support trend line here, which goes back a lot. And I also want to connect this low to this more recent low as well. So this is a really good support level. From a resistance level, how far can this pump? Yeah, I'd probably be looking at that. And so yeah, there's a very good chance that platinum has got a long way to go still. It will probably take some time. I can't imagine it going straight up. But hey, who knows? Who knows? Within a few months, it's done 150%. Let's see. It's very strange times in the economy at the moment. So yeah, the reason why I'm going through these charts is because a lot of people are pissed off because crypto is crashing, but everything else is pumping. And, well, I've explained it many times, but I'll explain it again. It's simply a case of liquidity. That's all it is. Like if you have, say, $100,000 and you want some gold, you want some silver, you want some stocks, you want some Bitcoin, you want some altcoins maybe, and you've only got 100 grand to play with. You can't buy 100 grand stock, 100 grand of gold, because you just don't have that much money. You have to split it up, or divide it up. So you'd have, say, 25 grand gold, 25 grand silver, 25 grand stocks, 25 grand crypto, and 20% of that might be Bitcoin, the other 5% in alts. And then if you want to buy more, well, then you just have to make more money. But the way that works for the economy is, it's not about making money, it's just printing more money. That's what they do. They don't go out and earn the money. And so that's what we're waiting on. And that's what's happening. That's what's happening behind the scenes. So it's a very, very bullish environment still. I know right now we're in a downtrend and it's difficult to ignore. And I'm not ignoring it. I'm just being realistic. If you use my indicator, the sell signal was up here, $106,000, $107,000. So even if you're buying back now, you're getting a good discount. But this is just the way it's working. But I'm pretty confident next year will be a really good year for crypto. I don't know when. Once we break out of this, which is probably going to take a couple more months, things will start to fly again. And it is just having that patience. So even if you buy now, you're effectively getting Bitcoin at 25%, 30% off, and it will recover. It will recover. It's just simple mathematics. Another reason why I think we're probably going to have a bit more of a downtrend on Bitcoin is because of this chart here. This is a stable coin dominance chart. This trend line has been solid since September, and so it keeps on holding. So if this continues to go up, the Bitcoin price is going to go down. Marcus has asked a good question. Do I have eyes on any alts or mainly just Bitcoin at the moment? It is mainly just Bitcoin because that's what genuinely moves the market. And it is strange because what normally happens is Bitcoin pumps and then alts pump. But this year we haven't had an alt run. We've had some alts popping off, but not like Bitcoin. So that's been really frustrating, even for me, because I was mainly in alts, because I was expecting alts to just fly and really outperform Bitcoin. But for the last year, they've done nothing, really. And one of the coins I've kept an eye on is Tau. Like this is, I say destined. It's more like hope. I do think this will do really well. But, look at the performance. Over the last 2-3 years, it's just stayed in this range, which is, between 700 and 200. And now we're on the verge of breaking down even lower. So, alts will recover, but it's difficult for me to say alts are going to do really well now. Before, it was a case of alts are just going to go crazy. But I really don't know what to say now. I mean, look at SHIB. Like, this is bear market levels. These are levels we saw 2022, 2023, lower. So I do have high hopes for alts, but I think my game plan is going to change now. I think I'll invest in alts, but as soon as it pumps a bit, I'm probably going to get out. And so I'm probably going to be playing that game, more of a trading style rather than holding style. In this run, I literally just held alts in the hope that we will have an alt season, but it didn't happen. And so, So Marcus, I did sell all my alts in the summer, and now I've been accumulating again. And that's good. I mean, I would say these are good levels to accumulate. They are, because they're literally 70, 80, 90% discounts. Like some of them are just at all-time lows. It's crazy. So I'm going to say the same thing that I said when I used to do live stream when Bitcoin was at 20,000. If you play the long game, you will win. But you need to play the long game, because most people, they put their rent money in. So they put their rent money into Bitcoin, and then Bitcoin drops 20-30%, and then they're screwed because they don't have enough money for rent. But if you've got money that you can just park, and then the mathematics are in your favor, you will win again. And there's a stat when it comes to stocks, and it was investing in index funds like the S&P 500. If you just buy and hold, then after 7 years you are 100% guaranteed to be in profit. But you have to invest for at least 7 years in a row. That's not jumping in and out of the market. That's just investing, parking your money for 7 years and just waiting. And I would say Bitcoin, I haven't done the math, but I will do the math just to get the specifics right. But I would say for Bitcoin it's the same, but it's probably not as long as 7 years. It's maybe 3 years or even 4 years. So yeah, if you can buy and hold now, with Bitcoin you're pretty much guaranteed to win. I can't say the same for alts, which is a shame because a year ago, if you asked me the same question, I probably would have said the same for alts. But now, yeah, the game has changed. Alts will pump, but I'm just not convinced that we're going to have an alt season anymore. So yeah, you did well selling in the summer and accumulating again now. And I'm just waiting for an uptrend. I mean, really, I'm just going to use my indicator. My indicator works really well. It tells you when to be in the market and when to be out of the market. And it doesn't tell you to sell at the top, pretty close to the top, but it also doesn't tell you to buy in right at the bottom, but pretty close to the bottom. And so even if you miss out a bit, you will do well following this strategy. And so really it's the green and red line. I'll show you on a clearer chart. Let's delete these. So when this green line here drops below this red line here, so when they cross over, like over here for example, when a red line crosses over the green line, that's when the buy signal will flash, and that's when I'll buy into the market. But you can see the green line and the red line are quite a way away, and so who knows when that's going to happen. And it's the other way around as well. When they cross over, that's when I sell. And, you know, it doesn't work 100% of the time, but if you just stick to it, over time you win. There are some periods where you have a bit of, you know, buying and selling and it's just flatlining and nothing's really happening. But yeah, when you're at a pump like this, tells you to buy here and sell over here, to me that's a great strategy, because the truth is no one knows what's going to happen. But using this strategy I've back tested it back to 2011. It just works. And so yeah, they are my thoughts. We're still in a downtrend, and with this recent daily candle I'm expecting further falling still. And yeah, until we break out of this trend line here, I'm going to delete this as well, then yeah, there's nothing really, it's difficult to get excited right now. But I will almost guarantee Bitcoin will recover. It just needs more time. Well, I think we're going to leave it there. Thanks everyone that joined in live, Marcus. I appreciate your comments. You know, I don't know if you've been following my strategy or been following my videos, but you did well. You know, selling your alts in the summer and yeah, reaccumulating now. And so yeah, I'll leave it at that, people. I'll make another video update tomorrow, and I'll go live same time next week. Let me just switch back to me. So yeah, thanks for watching. I make video updates pretty much every day. I didn't make one yesterday because it was Christmas, and yeah, I just didn't make time to. And yeah, if you like my stuff, feel free to subscribe, comment. If you want me to chart any coins that you're looking at, as long as there's some trading view, I'm happy to do so. And I will see you in tomorrow's video. Thanks, people.